Tyler Ashford stood alone in the fluorescent-washed silence of the corporate training room, long after everyone else had filed out laughing, clueless, leaving behind the stale smell of catered sandwiches and PowerPoint breath. His tie was loose, fingers hovering over the clicker, as if something in his bones told him not to go further. But he clicked anyway. Slide 98. It should have been another generic onboarding frame, some cookie-cutter graphic about workplace synergy or performance metrics. Instead, it was a photograph. Blurry, black and white, security cam footage. The timestamp flickered ***, January 12, 2009, 2:03 a.m. ***, decade too old, but unmistakably taken in this very room. At first glance, nothing. Just chairs, a projector, a shadow stretching just past the threshold of the exit door. But then he saw it, noticed it. The silhouette of a woman, mid-step, wearing a staff badge with the company's old logo, the one they stopped using after the internal scandal they swore never happened. Her head was turned sharply toward the lens, eyes white as overexposed film, mouth open in the shape of a scream that never got heard. Tyler blinked, reached for the keyboard, tapped the spacebar. Nothing happened. The system didn't respond. He tried to go back a slide, then forward. But the screen remained locked, frozen on the image like it had been waiting. No one had mentioned this during orientation. No one spoke of the 98th slide. The presentation ended at 9:07. He was about to shut down the projector when the speaker, above him, crackled alive with a hiss, like someone had accidentally unmuted a dead frequency. Then came a voice, small female, whispering but not to him, through him. Double quotes, Tyler, ... You forgot what they made you forget. He stumbled back, heart knocking against his ribs, veins prickling with ice. That voice, it wasn't possible. His mother had died when he was 16. He hadn't spoken her name out loud in years. Behind him, the door creaked open, slowly, quietly, but when he turned, there was no one there. Only the hallway stretching empty in both directions, humming with office lights that suddenly seemed too bright. Then something else changed. A shift in the air, like the building had exhaled after holding its breath too long. His company-issued phone buzzed on the table. One new message. No number. Just an attachment. Slide _99. MP4 against every rational impulse screaming in his mind. He opened it. The video was short, grainy. A different room, this time, darker, older. The paint peeled with time. A man sat slumped at a table, back to the camera, face obscured. The video skipped. Then the man turned his head slightly, and Tyler's entire world split open. It was him, but not him now. Older, beaten down, wearing a company visitor badge dated 2036. Eyes hollow, lips moving in slow repetition, again and again, mouthing words Tyler couldn't hear until the final second of the clip, when the audio caught up. Don't let them start the meeting. Then everything went black. Behind him. The projector clicked to the next slide on its own, and the door, once open, slammed shut. Locked. The door slammed behind Tyler with the force of something final, something ancient. The click of the lock didn't sound mechanical, it sounded personal, like the building itself had made a decision. The projector continued humming, casting a pale blue light that pooled across the carpet like the memory of a crime scene no one wanted to revisit. Tyler stood there, frozen, throat dry as paper, skin tight with static. He was sure he'd just watched a video of himself from the future. But in a world stitched together by HR manuals and company slogans, how could that make any kind of sense? His phone was still in his hand, but the screen was black, dead, not just off-wiped, no apps, no notifications, just the default setup screen like it had never been used. He pressed the side button, held it down, but nothing responded. The charger cable lay useless nearby, and plugging it in didn't help. He stared at the blank glass in his palm and felt something crawl across his spine. It was the first moment in his life he fully understood the shape of dread. A hole inside your chest that doesn't feel like fear, but knowing, a silent answer to a question you never dared ask. The slide was still glowing on the screen behind him. Slide 100 now. No title, just a single sentence in Argyle font. Centered, sharp and cold like the tone of a parent who's already made up their mind. Asterisk, asterisk, you agreed to this. Asterisk, asterisk, Tyler staggered back, his legs hitting one of the swivel chairs, sending it spinning slightly. The room looked the same, but he didn't trust it anymore. The corners seemed deeper. The clock on the wall wasn't moving. The air felt too still, like time had gone missing. He checked the hallway again, still empty, but this time the shadows didn't feel like shadows. They felt like presence, like someone watching from inside the walls. Too patient to blink. And then a knock. 3 soft, slow taps on the glass panel in the training room door. He turned sharply, blood roaring in his ears. Outside the glass stood a man mid-40s, tall, broad-shouldered, in a charcoal suit that somehow looked older than him, like it belonged to a decade no one remembered wearing. His eyes were wrong, not threatening, not vacant, just off, like he was mimicking the idea of a human being and hadn't perfected the details. He smiled through the glass, but it didn't reach his eyes. When the door opened, despite the lock never turning, Tyler flinched. The man stepped in without waiting for permission, and something about him triggered a memory Tyler couldn't place. Not a full moment, just a texture. Rain on a windshield. Coffee gone cold. A red light that never turned green. Tyler Ashford, the man asked. His voice didn't match his mouth. It was like listening to someone on the phone while watching a video half a second behind. Who are you? Tyler whispered. His throat hurt like he'd been screaming for hours. The man smiled again, gentler this time. I'm here to walk you out. The meeting's over. But I never started it. The man looked down, almost fondly. That's not what the footage says. Tyler's blood ran cold. What footage? Instead of answering, the man reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out a small flash drive. He placed it on the table like it was evidence in a trial neither of them had agreed to attend. The label read, Training Day, a internal review. Tyler didn't move. The man just stood there, waiting. He didn't blink once. Finally, Tyler reached out with a shaky hand and slotted the drive into the laptop that had been running the presentation. The screen flickered, then opened a single video file. No timecode, no metadata, just a title. Asterisk, asterisk, you saw what you weren't supposed to. Asterisk, asterisk, he clicked play. The video showed the training room, just as it had been moments ago. Chairs, projector, the dull palette of office furniture. But this time, the camera was static in the upper corner survey angle. He saw himself walk in, alone, stand at the front, click through the slides. Nothing unusual. Until it reached slide 98. In the footage, he didn't react, didn't freeze, didn't tremble or whisper or stumble back. Just blinked and kept clicking. Slide 99. It never played. The footage showed him packing up, leaving, smiling. He was smiling. Tyler looked at the screen in disbelief. That didn't happen. That didn't happen. I saw the woman. I heard her voice, my mother's voice, she said. The man tilted his head slightly, like someone examining an insect pinned to a board. Tyler, how long have you been off your medication? What? He snapped, stepping back. I'm not on anything. I don't take meds. But even as he said it, a dull pressure started in his skull. A memory, buried under years of static. A prescription bottle with a name scratched out. Bitter pills, sleepless nights, whispers behind drywall. You're not crazy, they lied to you. That phrase, why did it feel so familiar? The man didn't answer, didn't react, just let the silence do its work. Then, I think you should come with me now. Tyler was about to argue when something shifted in the reflection on the screen. The video kept playing, though he'd stopped it. The image of him, the other him, was back in the room again, alone, standing still. The version on the screen stared into the corner, and then, slowly, turned to face the camera. His face was wet with blood. Then the video cut out, static, nothing, and the laptop shut off on its own. When Tyler looked back, the man was already at the door. Who are you? He asked again. This time, the man answered, We're all just employees, Mr. Ashford, but some of us remember better than others. Then he walked away, leaving the door open behind him. Tyler didn't follow. He stayed in the training room long. After the lights began to flicker, after the building's soft hum gave way to that strange silence again, he sat down, his mind racing in broken loops. He checked his phone again. Still blank. But now there was something new. In the corner of the screen, where the battery icon should be, was a blinking symbol he didn't recognize. A small red triangle with an eye in the center. He didn't remember installing anything, didn't remember downloading anything. But when he scrolled through his files, somehow they were all gone. Replaced with one folder. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk recovered. Memories asterisk, 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 and inside, a single audio file. Time-stamped 3 years ago. He pressed play. The voice on the other end was his. Desperate, broken. Whispering to someone. Maybe a therapist. Maybe a recorder. Maybe no one. I'm not supposed to remember the red hallway. I'm not supposed to remember what the last slide said. But I saw it. I know I saw it. And if they hear this, they'll erase it again. Please. If you're listening to this, don't let them start the meeting. The recording stopped. Tyler sat still, heart pounding so loud it felt like it was in his throat, and for a moment, he felt the truth crawling just under the surface of his skin. The meeting had already started. Maybe it always had. And outside the room, in the flickering fluorescent dark, someone else was watching, recording, waiting for slide 101. He reached for the laptop again, but this time, the screen showed a live feed, not of the room, but of his childhood, bedroom now, and someone was sitting on his bed, crying. It was his mother. She looked straight into the camera and said one word. Asterisk, asterisk, run. Asterisk, asterisk, then the feed cut to black. Tyler didn't run. He sat in the training room until the projector burned itself out, until the walls lost their color and the hum of the air vents turned to whispers. The weight of his own breath pressed heavy in his chest, but the urgency, the horror dulled like it had never been real, like it was part of some corporate fever dream, the result of long hours and fluorescent isolation. He watched the footage. Again, he tried to feel the panic he'd felt before. It didn't come. Instead, something strange crept in. Certainty. A kind of synthetic calm, as if his brain had just decided to let go of the chaos, to wrap itself in the soft lie of resolution. The voice on the audio file, his voice still echoed in his head, but the words were starting to fade. Don't let them start the meeting. What meeting? Who started it? Had it already happened? The more he tried to follow the logic, the more it fractured. So instead of chasing answers, he followed the only lead he had left. The visitor badge. Tyler still remembered the date printed on it in the video, 2036, a future not yet lived. But that detail stuck to his ribs like glass. He searched the internal directory, a forgotten corner of the HR portal only upper management used. It took 5 different logins and one password he only remembered because his fingers typed it on their own. Ashford 380 Flickr, ***. He didn't know why he knew it, only that he'd used it before. Buried in the back end of the database was a document not labeled for deletion, but archived under legacy program. No metadata. Just a list of names. Employee IDs. Some highlighted green, some struck through in red, and next to his own, a blinking cursor, waiting as if he hadn't decided yet. At the bottom of the file, a single link. One word, orientation. He clicked it. The browser froze. The entire screen turned black. Then a video began to play. This time, it wasn't surveillance, it was professional. Clean corporate music. A friendly narrator's voice, female accent, designed to disarm. Welcome to the Ashford Initiative, where the past is just a memory, and memory is a choice. Tyler felt bile rise in his throat. His name? Ashford, the company, the project. Was this all his? Some old version of himself, a failed founder, a buried whistleblower. The video continued, showing flashes of smiling employees, facilities too sterile to be real, and machines, huge, cylindrical machines, feeding wires into helmets strapped to unblinking volunteers. Memory recall, identity reprogramming, trauma, correction. It sounded like therapy dressed in marketing, but the implication was chilling. What if you could remove the pain? What if you could choose not to remember what hurt you? Suddenly, Tyler remembered something that didn't belong. A room. White, bright, a woman with a clipboard saying his name in soft tones. You'll forget the first 12 slides. That's where the sadness lives. A chair with leather straps, a smell like burnt sugar and rust. But then nothing. Blackness. Just the knowledge that whatever had happened. He agreed to it. That was the moment. The false clarity rushed in, seductive and full of promise. The kind that numbs instead of heals. He stood up, pacing the room, words tumbling from his mouth. They used me. I was part of it. That's why the slides triggered it. Slide 98 it wasn't a glitch, it was my failsafe, a backdoor. I made it in case I forgot too much. He laughed, almost giddy. The voice on the phone, my voice, I planted it. I wanted to wake myself up. It all made perfect sense. He'd been a test subject, or a founder, or a traitor. The past wasn't lost. It had been wiped, sanitized. His mother's voice, the vanishing woman on the security cam, the Slide 99 video, they were all remnants. Proof that something inside him still fought back, that he hadn't been completely erased. He made a decision then. He'd expose it. Download everything. Leak it online, let the world see what the Ashford Initiative had buried. He smiled for the first time in hours. Mystery uncovered. You're not crazy, they lied to you. Then he opened the download folder and froze, because the files weren't there. Not just deleted, replaced. Hundreds of them. Not video. Not documents. Audio.all, labeled with dates. Going back 20 years, some before he was born, and every single one was someone screaming. No context, no conversation, just screams. Agonizing, real, sometimes cut short, sometimes hours long. Some sounded like children. One of them Tyler was sure was his own voice. He clicked one, desperate for answers. Through the screaming, beneath the distortion, a word kept repeating in the background like a chant. Ren. He slammed the laptop shut. The comm unraveled in seconds. The visitor in the gray suit. He hadn't said what department he was from. The footage of the woman, why had no one else seen it? The video of his future self, why did he look like he had given up? None of it added up if this was just a wiped memory experiment. The truth didn't feel clean. It felt corrupted, worse familiar. Tyler staggered to the hallway, dizzy with the weight of what now felt like false recovery, like a dream that had tried to pass itself off as memory, like he'd just finished solving the wrong puzzle, and then a flicker. Just outside the HR office, in the reflection of the glass, someone stood behind him. He turned, no one there, but the lights above him were dimmer now, almost blinking. The carpet beneath his feet felt wet. He reached down, blood, and suddenly he remembered the school. Not college, not high school, the institution. Cold metal beds, locked doors, the smell of ammonia. He had been there. He remembered whispering through the vents. screaming during storms, a janitor who didn't cast a reflection, a nurse who said, asterisk, we're just preparing you for your real job. Asterisk, he had thought it was a nightmare, but now, in the silence of the building, he could feel it crawling back into place like a jigsaw puzzle under his skin. One scream in the audio files, it wasn't just his, it was from a girl he'd known there, Emily. She'd vanished one night during a drill. The next day, no one remembered her, not the nurses, not the other patients, not even the empty bed. Tyler had told himself she was a dream, a coping mechanism, but he remembered her humming a tune from a commercial, something about cereal. And now, in the hallway, as he walked toward the elevator, he heard that same tune playing softly over the intercom, but the building didn't have music and there was no intercom. The elevator door opened on its own. Inside, the wall wasn't a mirror, it was a screen, and his reflection was missing. Instead, a new slide was displayed. Asterisk, asterisk, slide 0. Return to entry point. Asterisk, asterisk, he reached out to touch it, and as his fingers brushed the glass, everything shifted. He was no longer in the building. He was in the white room again. Leather straps. Smell of rust. That woman with the clipboard. Welcome back, Mr. Ashford, she said without looking up. It didn't take this long last time. You're getting better at hiding the trigger. He tried to speak, tried to scream, but no sound came, because in the reflection of the woman's glasses, he saw himself, younger, unscarred, smiling, and behind that image, dozens of monitors, dozens of Tyler Ashfords, all watching. All repeating the same phrase, in unison. Asterisk, asterisk, don't let them start the meeting. Asterisk, asterisk, only one of them, the real one, had forgotten. And only now did he understand the meeting wasn't an event, it was a condition, and it had already begun, somewhere far away outside of time, outside of everything. He trusted a different Tyler reached for the same file, the same trigger, and somewhere deep in the system, the countdown reset. Asterisk, asterisk, slide 1. Asterisk, 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 welcome to the Ashford Initiative. Asterisk, 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 begin onboarding. Asterisk, asterisk, begin onboarding. There was something hidden in the frames. Tyler didn't notice it at first. No one ever does. But when the footage began replaying itself again, unprompted, looping over the frozen image of slide 0, he saw it. Not in the text, not in the background, in the colors. A pattern, red, gray, white, always in threes. It was in the shirt of the woman with the clipboard, in the blinking lights above the elevator, in the blood-soaked carpet that no one had cleaned because no one acknowledged it was ever there. And then the voices started again, but different this time. Not from the speakers, or the hidden audio feeds embedded in the walls. From somewhere inside the playback. In the silence between slides, someone was whispering across time. We've all been waiting for you, Tyler. The voice wasn't his mother's, wasn't the suited man's, wasn't even human in the way we understand it. But it was layered with something intimate, something that knew him. Not the version of himself he'd managed to recall through crumbling memory, but the version buried before language, before memory implants, before training rooms and fake HR presentations. It spoke like someone who'd been watching his entire life, not as a threat, but as a participant. Somewhere, deep in his bones, Tyler began to accept that this wasn't just about him. It never had been. He opened the company laptop again. The screen flashed red, then black, then returned to the desktop. A single folder blinked where none had been before. It was labeled /others. No capital letters, no hidden encryption, just that name, as if it had been waiting to be discovered the moment he was ready to see it. Inside, images, not of him, of people, different ages, locations, timelines, blurry security footage, recovered audio transcripts, journal entries, written in tight, frantic penmanship. One woman wrote about waking up with the taste of rust in her mouth and the words, "He's in the walls," written in chalk on her mirror, words she didn't remember writing. A teenage boy in Oregon recorded 43 days of dreams, each one ending with the same phrase. Asterisk, asterisk, slide 0 is not the beginning, it's the escape. Asterisk, asterisk, a man in Baltimore had uploaded footage of his baby monitor picking up foreign ARADIO signals every night at 3:03 a.m., repeating a message in Morse code. Translated, "You were right all along." Tyler read until his hands shook, until his body forgot to be tired. There were hundreds of files, possibly more. People like him, experiencing fragments of the same unreality, flickers, false memories, redacted timelines. Some were dead, some had vanished. A few had left messages behind, like breadcrumbs laced with paranoia. One woman, 20 years ago, mailed a VHS tape to her sister with a note that simply said, asterisk, asterisk, don't trust the slides. Watch in the dark. Asterisk, asterisk, the footage was recovered in 2006. The woman was never found. The sister checked herself into a psych facility in Nebraska and claimed to see mere people every time she blinked. Tyler had never been alone in this. But why was he the one remembering now? Why had the slides awakened for him and not the others? That's when the symbols began appearing. First, in reflections. Then in screen glitches. Then horrifyingly drawn in ash under his fingernails when he woke up in the break room again with no memory of falling asleep. Always the same three shapes: an open eye, a downward arrow, and a broken circle. He found them carved into the underside of the break room table. Drawn in pen on the bathroom stall wall. Etched into a filing cabinet in the basement that was supposed to be sealed after the fire. And they weren't just showing up for him in a corner of the folder labeled Found Footage from 20 years ago. Tyler watched grainy camcorder video dated, flickering, but terrifying in its familiarity. The shot was of another training room, different location, same layout, same color carpet. The person holding the camera whispered as if they were being hunted. They told us we'd forget. I can't stop seeing it now. Every face, every window, it's mirrored. I saw myself watching me, and I smiled. Then the footage glitched. The last few seconds looped one frame repeatedly. A man's face, older, hollow-eyed, mouth moving. Tyler paused the video, adjusted the light, sharpened the contrast. He stared. It was him. 20 years older. Behind him, etched into the wall, like blood seeping through drywall, were the three symbols again. He knew then what they meant. Not logically, his mind couldn't reach that far. But in the marrow of his bones, he felt it. The eye wasn't surveillance. It was awareness. The arrow wasn't direction. It was descent. The broken circle. Not a shape, a cycle. One that never completed. One that restarted the moment someone got too close. The messages in the files weren't warnings. They were reminders. Every person in the other's folder had reached this point, this realization. And every one of them had believed just for a moment that they were the first to uncover it. Just like Tyler had. That was the trap. The puzzle was not meant to be solved. It was meant to be replayed. Over and over, because each iteration strengthened whatever was watching. And it was watching. He could feel it now, not behind him, not above him, but inside. Like his own memories were lenses through which something older, colder, less human, saw the world. Like it had nested in the folds of his identity, waiting for just enough trauma, just enough curiosity, to emerge. Not to harm, but to study. And every time one of them uncovered the truth, it learned. Tyler thought he was cracking the case. He thought he was the outlier. But then, the third voice arrived. It didn't speak. It typed out on the laptop screen. Without input, a command prompt opened and began printing characters in real time. At first, it looked like static. But slowly, words formed. Asterisk, asterisk, Tyler. Do not answer them. He froze. They know what you've seen. That's why they're letting you keep going. Asterisk, asterisk, he looked around. Alone, the building was empty. Yet, suddenly, every light flickered. A low hum vibrated through the walls. The sound wasn't mechanical. It was alive. Another line printed. Asterisk, asterisk, I am not one of them. I saw what they did to us. We were the first testers. You were the last. The cursor blinked, paused, and then, if you can still remember Emily, you're not fully gone. Asterisk, asterisk, his lungs collapsed inward. Emily, the girl from the institution. She had been real. This observer, whoever they were, they remembered her. Too, she hadn't vanished. She'd been buried. Just like him. Hidden beneath updates, slides, onboarding language, in fear. But how did they know? He typed back, fingers trembling. Asterisk, asterisk, who are you? Asterisk, asterisk, no response. He typed again. Asterisk, asterisk, why me? Then, after a long pause, because you paused at slide 98, they never do. Asterisk, asterisk, he wanted to scream. Wanted to burn the building down and watch whatever lived beneath it crawl from the ashes. But he didn't move, because something else had changed. The room was no longer a room that had become a mirror of itself. The lights were the same, but the angles were off. The walls looked like they'd been rearranged slightly by an architect who understood how to induce panic in a sleeping mind. The hallway outside no longer ended in a door. It looped, a perfect circle. He stepped out, slowly, watching his reflection glitch as he passed each surface. Sometimes it moved too late. Sometimes it blinked when he didn't. On the wall ahead, a new slide had appeared. Asterisk, asterisk, slide, 121. Final test, asterisk, asterisk. There were no controls now, no laptop, no remote, just the screen, flickering, waiting. He stared. And then it changed. N.